Go live. Right, you guys seeing this?
Yep, I see it.
Yeah. Yeah, nice one. Cool. Um, so, um, the actual legal organization behind Dandelion and some of the other projects I'm going to speak about tonight is Symbiota. So Symbiota is a UK-based not-for-profit worker cooperative um, that actually has four brands, or what we call member organizations. True Nature, which does wild women's work; the Psychedelic Society, which does events connected to psychedelic adventures in awareness, which does events related to consciousness, the mind, non-duality, and finally Dandelion, which is a platform for events and gatherings, which are a little bit more of in a second. So this actually this emerged from the Psychedelic Society. And then it was actually code that I had written for the Psychedelic Society to handle our events that at some point I extracted, and that became Dandelion. And then True Nature and Adventures in Awareness were also at some point just kind of families of events kind of within the Psychedelic Society until they kind of outgrew that and warranted their own brand. And so once upon a time, this company was actually called Psychedelic UK Limited, actually, but it's now called Symbiota to reflect that. It's the collective of event-focused organizations devoted to new forms of culture and inquiry. And we're very proud to be structured as a not-for-profit worker cooperative. The Psychedelic Society has always been a non-profit entity, and then we actually made the shift to becoming a worker co-op in early 2020. And this pitch was taken like 2 weeks ago, actually. So this is me here on the left, and these are the other 6 members of the cooperative. So Martha, Lauren, Gaia, Alana, Amir, and Carly here. And so we've got it's Alana and Gaia work mostly on True Nature. Amir works on Adventures in Awareness. Carly, Lauren, and Martha working on the Psychedelic Society, and I mainly work on Dandelion. Although we all kind of get involved in various times and in various degrees to kind of each other's projects. From my point of view, as the person leading on Dandelion, those other 3 organizations are heavy users of the Dandelion platform, so they're constantly giving me great suggestions and great feedback. So this is the Dandelion web platform. It's just like we used to just say find and host regenerative events and co-creative gatherings, and we thought just saying regenerative was maybe selling a bit short, even, or didn't capture the full range of events on the platform. So you can see now some of the other words that scrolling through that maybe capture the diversity of what's going on here a little bit better. And it's it's fairly mature at this point, and it's been going since 2020 or so. We've sold over 3 million tickets have been sold via the platform. Again, that the co-op logo, we're very proud to show that off. Originally taking payment just through Stripe, and then we added Coinbase Commerce, and then later on, and more recently, Open Collective and various EVM networks, which are not just these 2. We do also, of course, support Gnosis Chain, which is where Bread lives now. And so organizations on the platform can elect to take payment in Bread. Maybe I'll get a chance to show you that in a second. Because the Psychedelic Society was the UK Psychedelic Society, most of the activity is centered around the UK still, as you can see, but otherwise Europe, and then a few things further afield. But yeah, the UK is, and within the UK, Dandelion is fairly well known, I would say now, certainly for its type of event. So let's go ahead and sign in. There's 2 main parts to the Dandelion. There is this event side of things, which is very much like um, Eventbrite or Ticket Tailor or Luma now would be another reference point for for products quite popular in this space, at least. Um, I would say one difference between those platforms is that Dandelion is actually was really designed to handle like high volumes of events. So the psychedelic you run at the 40 events a month. And we found that some of the other platforms I mentioned are not so good for that. They're more designed for people with, for organizations that might be running one event a month. So there are some features that make it really useful for organizations that are themselves, like where events really is their business in a way that the three other organizations or in a way that it is the case for the three other member organizations of Symbiota. You can see there's tons of stuff coming up. This just within the psychedelic 30 on Dandelion. And let's pick an event. We go into an event. This is the mushroom growing workshop. So this is where people are going to be selecting their tickets and heading to check out. Currently, the Psychedelic Society just accepts payment in pounds and via Stripe. But I can probably show you if I edit the event here. It is, these are all the different currencies we support. So indeed, you can select Bread on Gnosis Chain here if you wanted to denominate your event in Bread. And actually, Bread has an extra special place. I think we can show if we actually search for the Breadchain organization on Dandelion and go back to one of its past events. I think it's the case of this one. Right. So actually, Bread has a special place on the platform such that if you denominate your event in dollars, then, so this event was actually free, but people could add a donation. That's why it's still asking for some amount of money here. If you denominate your event in dollars, then you actually have you can either pay in dollars via Stripe with a card, or you can pay with Bread. So, we've kind of given Bread a special place within Dandelion as like an actual alternative to dollars for organizations that have filled out a receiving address there. Right. Okay. So the other big part of the site is the gatherings feature. And so this was originally designed for AMP, the European Burning Man events, Nowhere and Borderlands. And so people are probably familiar with Burning Man to some extent. These are like highly participatory, highly co-created gatherings. This feature, we say, is designed for gatherings typically lasting between 2 days and 2 weeks with 200 people. So let's pick a gathering that was quite active. I think probably this one. It's a good choice. So the core of the gathering system is the application system. It's not actually doesn't have any remaining applications. Let me see if this one keeps. Right. So anyone can apply to the gathering, and then all existing members can see that person has applied, and then click to either propose or support that person's application. So typically proposer means that that person personally, you can really vouch for their quality, their behavior. Supporter is usually used to mean, I don't know this person, but they seem super cool and I'd be happy to spend whatever, like a weekend with them. Then we have this concept of this, like some threshold number of proposers and supporters at which the person that's applied actually gets accepted into the group and becomes a member. So either that number, it's called the magic number, can either can be fixed, or it can actually be, the magic number itself can be decided democratically. So all existing members can have a say over what that magic number should be. So I currently think it should be 5. People should have to get 5 proposers and supporters. Probably if I reduce the actual number changes, because it's calculated that every median of everyone is suggesting that what that magic number should be. So if I clicked, now it's only 3. If I click propose here, then Aline here would actually be extended and become a member. So these are all the actual members of the gathering. And once you're a member, you can see we can filter members in all kinds of different ways. Once you're a member of the gathering, you can go to choose and pay. So you can select various options that are relevant to the gathering. So typically a tier, so this would be like low income, standard, higher income. For like core costs, then maybe various accommodation options. And any extras are here. There are some seaside saunas that people could opt into as well. And it just keeps track of the options you've selected and then invites you, as you can see here, to make a payment. Again, it also support crypto payments, including Bread. If the gathering has entered a receive an EVM address. There's this Teams feature is quite similar to it's kind of mashed up between Facebook and Slack, which is a way of like people organizing it, discussing various aspects of the gathering. Some people choose to use a Discord or a Telegram instead of this, which also works well. The timetable feature is kind of, if you've ever done unconference or something like this, then you'll be used to sort of, you write what you want to talk about and you put it on a post-it on the wall. And then once everyone, then you start kind of like arranging the post-its into the different time slots from the different venues. So that's exactly what this is. But you can kind of drag your suggested activity into a slot on this co-created timetable, which initially start completely empty and then like just magically gets filled up with people making these offerings and filling them out. And of course, you can go into any of these these suggested activities to read more and to indicate that you're interested. The shifts feature, typically at these gatherings, people will share all the cooking and the cleaning. So here was a kitchen rota, and I could like click to sign up and just where if my face is, let's see, switch to name. Okay, there we go. So yeah. So when it starts up, it just looks like a bunch of green sign up buttons. And if I click to sign up, then it puts my face in there to say that I'm going to be helping out with Sunday brunch in this instance. Inventory, I don't know, that wasn't really used in this gathering, but if people are going to be asked to bring different items and equipment, then this can be a good place to list that. And then finally, there's a live and transparent budget of the whole event that everyone in the gathering can see, of all of the income that's going to come in from the different tiers, accommodation options, any extra options that you saw. And then you can sort of set notional budgets for the different teams that have been created. And finally, when people actually spend money, they can list it here. And then, so that all the money is currently just going to a single account, a single Stripe account in this instance. So that individual that is receiving the money is then responsible for reimbursing the individuals of anything they've spent to help make the gathering happen. So that is a lightning tour of Dandelion's gatherings feature, which is really like the hidden heart of Dandelion. I've had like many wonderful gatherings, that have like used this feature. It's typically those, it's more work. So I maybe only do like 1 or 2 gatherings a year. It's the events that are getting more use on Dandelion right now, but I'm very excited for more people to know about and to understand the gatherings feature, because I think it's just that way of organizing, of co-creating a timetable and sharing cooking and so on is very much in line with the decentralized ethos of the Web3 community. And I know some people many gatherings in that space are already being organized in that way. So probably Dandelion could be a helpful framework for people that are already doing that. And also can be useful for folks that maybe like have heard about that way of organizing, but haven't really done it themselves, just to give them a bit of structure around these things. So, yeah, so just to, I mean, in terms of the kind of post-capitalist element um, of Dandelion, it's like, I would say firstly, it's the fact that it's part of a not-for-profit worker cooperative. I think that the actual the structures, like legal economic structures under these things are extremely important. Something that I'm always very interested to find out more about before I commit to a platform. And and secondly, the kinds of events that are often being hosted here. So uh, let's see. So for example, you- uh, I did an event not so long ago. Let's see, on post-capitalism and psychedelic colonialism. Um, and yeah, I'm actually have an upcoming event on. Just say that. By the way, this is so if you link an EVM address, then it will pull in your potent broadcaster. That's that shows about for the last 6 months. That's been the case. So you could also find this stuff on my Warpcast account. Um, so yeah, and another so that's an example of a past event sort of relevant to clearly relevant to post capitalism, and another one that certainly will be covering some post capitalist themes is this upcoming course I have on technological metamodernism. So um, yeah, would love it to become even more of a hub for events with this post capitalist flavor over the months ahead. So let me let me stop streaming. And I'm happy to take any questions, comment, anything else that you might want to offer.
Yeah, this is super cool. I love how it's like transparent and decentralized organizing. I'm wondering if like you're planning to expand to like other, like outside of like psychedelic gatherings. Like I feel like this could even be useful for like maybe like the activist organizations or all sorts of orgs that are decentralized.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it has been used to organize online only unconferences. It's been used by some activist groups. Um, it's it's very much there and available to anyone who sort of just finds that basic structure of co-creation and participation useful. It is true that we've done very little marketing so far on and outreach for that firm. I think you're right that there would be some benefit there to actually maybe approach activist groups and some other folks that might um, very well be organizing it its way already in a way and just say, hey, did you know this exists? And yeah, maybe this could be a support to you.
You do any kind of like curating of like the types of things that people organize? Like, is there like a period of like any like reviewing to make sure that it's consistent with like, you know, values and everything like that?
Right. Well, we've for some time we've said that we're prepared to do that. It's just hasn't so far. It hasn't been necessary. I think partly because just like the Dandelion is simply spread through word of mouth. That it means that we really seem to have attracted sort of aligned organizations. But yes, like if the Nazi group got wind of Dandelion, as unlikely as I think that is at this point, and started trying to put stuff up there, then um, yeah, we would deem it not consistent with the values of Symbiota and be prepared to remove such content. But yeah, happily it hasn't been necessary so far.
I think also maybe a little bit ironically it might be interesting. I think you mentioned Stephen to me that kind of purpose of making Dandelion was partially coming from, trying to organize events through big tech, through Facebook and whatever else, and them not
Yeah.
allowing it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the reason I actually first wrote code to like handle the events for the Psychedelic Society is because our accounts kept getting shut down, like our Eventbrite account, our Stripe account, our PayPal account, because all of these organizations were freaking out about the name, the Psychedelic Society, even though the UK Psychedelic Society has always done everything legally and above board, like even, and which means we've never used any psychedelics at any of our events in the UK. Even the name was enough to get our account shut down. So yeah, that was why I wrote some code to handle our event ourselves. And then actually that code was kind of extracted from the Psychedelic Society and became Dandelion. So there's very much a story of, censorship, in relation to the Psychedelic Society. And that was one of the reasons why I became very interested in the blockchain space as offering censorship resistant technology. I would love it if, the majority of people booking events at the Psychedelic Society were paying in crypto, or specifically like paying in bread. And uh, so we could be fully enjoying that censorship resistance. Um, I would say it's simply a kind of, UI UX challenge, an ongoing UI UX challenge. For the main part, and to some extent also a political one, I guess. Like we are in the probably the minority of leftists that are sympathetic to blockchain technology and see that it could play a really important part in post-capitalist futures. I think the general attitude towards those on the left is one of skepticism toward crypto, but hopefully Dandelion is also playing a part in changing that to some degree, just because of the way in which crypto is kind of visible on the platform in various ways. Like even if people are not using it themselves, they're being kind of exposed to some of the terms and concepts. And I'm open to the idea that there will come a point in time, or there's a way of actually speaking to like more deliberately like onboard folks from onto crypto wallets and crypto rails, and even into getting some bread. I just think that's like that needs to be done really carefully and tastefully. But I think there is a way of doing it. So NMP continues to consider that point.
I'm wondering, so is the crypto payments like the only part of this that is like blockchain related? Because in regard to like censorship resistance, I was thinking you could even put like more data on the back end on chain. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly. Yeah. So, for the most part, it's the crypto payments. So there's a few other bits and pieces like putting in after and so on. Like if people have linked their wallet to an account. In principle, a whole bunch more, data that's currently in our Mongo database could actually be published on chain. And one schema that I've started looking into actually for that was the EAS, which seemed like it had could be a good way of doing some of that. But I guess I'm very conscious that I would certainly be very responsive and uh, like happy to hear from people that somehow like wanted the data on chain. So like I guess the reality is, to this point, like no one has seemed very interested in that possibility. It doesn't mean it's not a good idea, but in the meantime, Symbiota is very much focused on you could say what is for the most part like a non-crypto native audience, and making sure that they have the smoothest experience possible through the platform and through the events. It's I guess it's mostly just a matter of prioritization there.
a feature that just popped up in my head that maybe could be interesting to explore. Maybe like POAPs for people who do attend events on Dandelion. That could be really cool, and that could fit in. That could slot really well with also the new features that we're working on for Breadchain. Um, Tossing that.
Yeah, nice. That's cool. Well, this is exactly the kind of thing, like when people, I actually love to respond, and often quite quickly, to like, good ideas pitched by users of the platform. So, uh, poetry is definitely something that, has been mentioned before. So I'll take this as that. Yeah, to really look at that again, because I actually don't think it's that complicated technically. It's like the main thing is just we just need of course, need the user needs to have actually associated their account with a wallet. But for those that have, um, sending perks is a really nice idea, especially since, as we heard, people are even finding you through owning NFTs, Josh. So how many more people might be finding you through through like a shared a shared POAP or something like this in the future? Let's see.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing about the POAPs is it's, even though it's a centralized network, it's still like really in our ecosystem of ETH, right? Of Ethereum network. But like at D-Work, they had an option within the organizations to mint an NFT when a job was completed or something, which is pretty cool. But of course, yeah, having a POAP, it's still within that ecosystem of legacy, proof of attendance.
Yeah. I could also imagine this feature as being nice for it's there on the UI, and like maybe someone who is they're just a psychedelic society member or something like that. They see like, oh, what are these things? Oh, if I connect a crypto wallet, it doesn't cost them anything. Probably, I assume, to receive a POAP, so cheap. Um,
Yeah.
and maybe that POAP we use as part of like governance and Breadchain to where people take a multiplier of some sort. And
That's
so then we can pull in, more of the people who are already a part of the Symbiota network of kind of naturally to nudge them. So that I imagine it'll probably take some time for people in these different communities to know, like, oh, we're a part of Breadchain.
yeah.
And then they can see all this.
Yeah. No, I'm really liking the direction that's heading. So, I'll definitely look into POAPs or NFTs or something of the like thing. Actually, we did have something going where, I wonder if I could find this again. Let's see. So, what was that service called? No. How would I find this again? I can't. It's not off the top of my mind right now. But the only time we have people could like, because the whole platform is funded through user donations. So for a time, if people donated, then they would actually be buying like a special like Dandelion artwork NFT. And so some of those are out there on chain. And I mean, one positive thing is it was actually technically very simple to get that set up. So I imagine it would also be quite straightforward to be doing similar things for events. Yeah, that's one of those.
You don't have funding at the moment? Full funding?
So the funding comes from user donations. So people currently users are donating around like £600-700, like what's that, like maybe up to like $1,000 a month. And in addition, we get occasional grants from, there was one sharing, Presenti, which is like a Stello funding body, which like gave a couple of thousands USD. And then also from Arbitrum mini grants, they gave us like 2,500 ARB. And of course, Breadchain. now as well. So yeah, it still very much being kind of run on a shoestring. So like finding and we're also committed to like the gift economy model. So would love to make it work like simply through donations. Like in a way, like if the people donating that $1,000 a month were donating it via quadratic funding schemes, then that would be way better for us, because that would actually be like probably like we get a really good match multiplier there. But right now this is mostly like non-crypto folks just donating, like actual
it's
dollars and
definitely
pounds.
Yeah, let's definitely have a chat sometime soon. The main project I'm working on is about not only getting funding for public goods, but also giving funding. So like a DAF, a donor advised fund. So yeah, so we talk soon. If you're not involved
Awesome.
in
Yeah,
funding rounds, then I'd love to help out.
cool. I'd love to. Yeah, I'd love to hit Mark. Thanks. And actually,
really cool system, by the way.
yeah, and actually on that, kind of on that topic, Open Civics, or a team connected to Open Civics have just found a way of people doing Gitcoin donations with PayPal, or like they built a layer, like a PayPal layer, like over Gitcoin. So finally, people are going to be able to donate to Gitcoin in fiat, which has been a long time coming. So that we may well be able to like hook into that in the future. And so like this $1,000 a month will finally start being kind of count towards QF rounds on chain. So yeah, that's the things. Yeah, seems to be heading in the right direction for us there as well. Folks, I actually need to head off. I think pretty soon. I'm actually at a friend's house, and they're like making cups of tea, and I think like starting to get ready for bed. And in any case, I have a bit of a journey to get back to my home. But wondering if there's any final comments or questions.
Stephen, just to say thanks very much. This was awesome. It's super impressive what you built, and really, really encouraging. And I'll be in touch soon, and hopefully connect, invest in IRL at some point.
Nice one. Yeah, please. I'd love to stay in touch with everyone here. Thank you so much for turning up. It really means a lot to, just the people that are interested in what we're up to at Symbiota. And delighted to just be in the company of fellow crypto leftists, blockchain post-capitalists. So, solidarity to you all. And if you do feel like if you appreciate some of what you've seen, you're obviously very welcome to give some of your votes to Symbiota and to Dandelion in the next Breadchain or in upcoming Breadchain poll. So yeah, great to meet you all and be around.
Nice.
Thanks, Stephen.
Thanks, Stephen. Glad.
Thanks, Stephen.
Get it.